look at the shit I spoke about, look at the shit I put in these people's ears, man, I feel very wrong about a lot of things. How many lives I actually am responsible for when it comes to my music? How many kids and people have gotten in the car or put this shit in their ears and actually went hurt someone? And now I'm sitting back like, damn, I can't do it all in one day, but I promise to clean whatever I can clean. But it's gonna take time.
What you hear when you hear that brother speak? That young man speak, bro.
I hear someone that is basically those type of thoughts come from being isolated.
Mm.
To me, when someone has been isolated, that means they have time to reflect.
Mm.
They have time to take in what they have made contributions to and how it affects others. Isolation sometimes brings about clarity.
Mm.
You're not around the noise anymore. You're not around your boys anymore. So when you're around and you get to sit with your thoughts and actually hear your voice, hear your inner voice, hear your self speak. And that is when you truly get to know yourself. Sometimes people don't find themselves till they by themselves.
Mm.
And when you find yourself by yourself, sometimes that inner voice is the voice that speaks the loudest. So to me, that's what I hear. I hear someone um, that now has clarity.
Mm. What's going on, folks? This is part 2 of the meeting that destroyed hip hop right here on the Truth is Controversial podcast with me, your host, Dutch, the creator, and I got my man Bleak here all the time. And we're basically about to get into the area where a lot of people don't like talking about, bruh. And that is the death of so many rappers. The thing is, when we talk about the death of so many rappers, we see these people. We see Nipsey Hussle. We see Young Dolph. We see King Von, Pop Smoke. We see XXX Tentacion, and everybody knows Tupac and Biggie. But at the end of the day, we got to understand how this all came about. Tupac and Biggie died, what, almost 30 years ago, bro?
Yeah, well, in the 35 years since Scott LaRock died, was murdered in the Bronx in 1987, it's been 91 rappers since him, including Takeoff. So
Damn.
we have 91.
Can you read the exact? So I don't think you lying.
It's been 91 rappers since Scott LaRock. So that's from Scott LaRock all the way up to Takeoff in 2022. And we just in the beginning stages of 2023, the early months of 2023. So
and
it's just mind blowing the fact that
91.
It seems as if
and check it. That's just rapper murders, right? We're not talking about overdose. We're not talking about local rappers who got hit up.
Right.
We're not,
We're talking about 91 rappers that have some sort of national notoriety. More so mainstream rappers.
Wow, bro. 91.
So in the 35 years since Scott LaRock.
It's been thousands. It's been
thousands. Yeah, we know that. We know when we taking, remember just in part 1 we was talking about how it was 3 in our local region. Over the last 3 or 4 days. So when you take in consideration how many rappers in your respective neighborhoods and communities, it's well into the thousands.
And that right there is where we okay, people, we are talking about this meeting that took place in I think late 80s, early 90s, but some people think it's fake. And this guy had came on the internet in the early 2000s and basically broke down how, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of this meeting, but he broke down how he was called to a meeting of prison industrial people, privatized prison owners, politicians, record executives, and all of this. And they were basically about to fund and promote and market gangster rap to the masses. And that's when we got all of the effery that we heard in certain lyrics.
And it seemingly that it worked when you take
exactly
right. Gangster rap or gangsterism has definitely went mainstream when that was something that was traditionally shunned by, especially by corporations. And it seems as if corporations are now in bed with it.
Exactly. And we're trying to just get to the truth of the matter. The thing is, like my man Bleak said, that I said, doesn't matter if this meeting was real or not. The results are definitely real. They are real. We see these things. You have the most prolific person on here other than Tupac and Biggie has to be Nipsey Hussle, man.
Right.
Nipsey was on, like, he's the only man that I seen that didn't just sign to a label. He partnershiped with a label, Atlantic Records. The thing is, the man was on, but that goes to show you, bro. That goes to show you how our mentality is. This man died in the parking lot of his store that's located in the hood. Do you think, I want to ask you this question. I want to really ask you this question, and I want you to be the most honest as possible. Do you think rappers of his caliber should still be hanging around in the hood?
Definitely not. Not to the degree of being accessible so that anybody could possibly walk up to you. Now I get it. Trust me, like, that's where we from, that's where you from, that's where I'm from. We're from these same communities. But when you reach a certain stature, you are not the same person anymore. It just is what it is. And I get it. Everyone wants to still be normal, but you have to realize that the facts is you are no longer normal.
Yeah, exactly.
You are set apart. Like, just the amount of money you have access to and the opportunities you have access to makes you abnormal. So that's what people needs to understand. I mean, in the perfect world, our communities would be safe enough for anybody. We wouldn't even be having this podcast about this particular subject if that was the case, but obviously it's not. So when you look at Nipsey Hussle up there, he was in his neighborhood. When you look at Young Dolph, he was in his neighborhood. When you look at SSX Tentacion, he was in his neighborhood. So when you take these things and you analyze that these people feel the most comfortable where they come from, it's no question that their guard is down because you're around the people that you think would respect you. I remember an interview when Tupac said that he didn't think that he would ever get shot by a black man. This when he got shot the first time. You know what I mean? He said he didn't think because he rides so much for his people. But the ignorance in that is, even though these brothers are very intelligent, the ignorance is that you forget that these people are now jealous of your stature, and you have reached a level that people can only dream of. You know what I mean? So I definitely understand it, but I do want to ask you a question that kind of alludes to this whole thing being a conspiracy.
Okay.
Speaking of Nipsey, right? I was talking to a partner of mine earlier, and we was having a discussion about Nipsey in particular.
Mm-hmm.
And it says Nipsey Hussle. This is a news article from hiphopdx.com, right?
Okay.
And in it says Nipsey Hussle, ex-cop suggests LAPD might have ordered rapper's murder. And I'm gonna read just a
Ooh.
couple excerpts from it, right? Now, I will say this: about 3 or 4 days after Nipsey was murdered, I started to question why he was murdered. Not just who did it, but when you look at the whole thing, when it comes to Nipsey, I don't even got to read this shit because I'm just going to speak from my mind, speak from my heart. When you look at what Nipsey stood for, now, mind you, while we got Tupac on screen, and everybody can go check this. I
Right.
want you to go check this because the truth is controversial, and guess what? We talking the truth. In 1992, right? So I'm gonna bring it up to Nipsey. But in 1992, what a lot of people don't know is that Tupac, of course, with the help of some OGs in LA, helped orchestrate a peace treaty between the Bloods and the Crips. He also had this thing called the Code of Thug Life, which was being implemented through the jail system, through the OGs being directed back to their respective communities. And what the Code of Thug Life was saying is that it should be so that, yes, the street element is always going to exist, but it should be some rules and some laws that these gangsters should abide by, meaning that kids should be able to play, women should be able to go grocery shopping and whatnot. That's something that could be very commendable because the street element is always going to be there, right?
Right.
So when you take that into consideration and you fast forward up to a guy like Nipsey Hussle, who had I believe it's called the Vector 90 program. When he had real estate, had a clothing store, and was Grammy nominated, and was a well-known Rolling 60 Crip, also had respect from the
And
Blood.
was not controlled by the masses of the industry.
Right, exactly. Basically doing his own thing with the All Money In print. So when you take that and knowing that he was partnering up with Puma, partnering up with different real estate companies, and had his own company, when you look at that and you see that he was also respected by the Bloods and respected by Crips, it made me think to say, maybe it's more to Nipsey's murder than what is being told. Because when you look at that and you take in the history and take into account what has always transpired, when one of us rise up, when one of us starts to elevate not only your position as a rapper, fuck that. It's not even about being a rapper. When you start to elevate your mind as a human being, as a person, and you have leadership qualities, one of the things that the FBI and J. Edgar Hoover put out
Speak it,
was to eliminate the rise of a messiah. So I read a book by an author named John Potash, and he talked about the FBI and the war on Tupac Shakur. And in that book, he spoke to that, and to understand that rappers have been under the microscope because of not. See, the thing about this is Martin Luther King had a following. Malcolm X had a following. Every last one of these rappers that's on your screen have a following. You know what Malcolm X didn't have, and you know what Martin Luther King didn't have, was the money these people are producing. So when you take in consideration someone like Nipsey, and especially someone like Tupac, having that amount of influence, now you're getting power, and you have the ears of the youth. Oh, that's dangerous. So now when you take somebody, especially like Nipsey now, that have not only the ears of the youth, but a potential military and political power. That's what people don't recognize, is that because these guys are street, you're talking to a segment of people that are outcasts. these people that listen to hip hop are the non-voters. So that's what we got to consider, that these are why these certain rappers are targeted, and not only targeted by their own community, but also targeted by government. And to me, if you don't think that way, something is definitely wrong with your mind frame, because all you gotta do is take everything that I said into consideration and look at the history of anybody that spoke up and spoke the truth. So when you look at that, all you gotta do is look at Tupac, you look at Nipsey. Those two, to me, they stand out the most when it comes to what could be a conspiracy around their potential murder.
And as you was talking, I looked up the word conspiracy. A secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. Second, an action or the action of plotting or conspiring. The thing is, bro, everything that you just said sounds like both definitions. The thing is, bro, I look at Nipsey Hussle as the reincarnation of Tupac Shakur. And if we want to get real metaphysical on this shit, which we can, and you can take it how you want it.
Go there.
I look at these two individuals as pillars in a short amount of time that influence people in a short amount of time. You see, the thing is, bro, all of these people that you see on this screen right now had a following. And I want to go to the most prolific person on here, in my eyes, that I think that.
I found this on the web for you. See
Oh
the
my God! Really?
People that you see.
Don't worry about it. People understand. Look,
you hear that?
People understand. Like, we real people. Shit happens.
For some reason, Suri does this shit to me on my computer. All right.
Don't worry about it, bro. It's
okay. Did you hear it though? I don't know if anybody. Did you hear it?
No,
Siri just went loud as shit on my motherfucking shit. But anyway, like I was saying, the most prolific person on this joint, other than Nipsey Hussle, I will go to next will be XXX Tentacion. That little dude, I swear, I never. Now I heard of him in passing before he died, but I remember the day I found out this young man died. I was in Virginia Beach at a hotel with my family. We on summer vacation in June, and I was sitting in the bed. We were going to go to the carnival in Virginia Beach, and I was waiting for my daughters to get out of the shower to get ready, right? And I just got this message on my phone: XXX Tentacion murdered. I said, oh, I remember that guy, because a couple of months earlier he just got stolen in the face during the concert, and that's how that was the first inclination of who this guy was. I said, damn, they stole the shit out of him, and I seen him do interviews and never heard his music though, right? But I looked at my phone, was like, wow, like he's dead. He's dead. That little dude is dead. That little dude, like.
And just speaking on that, just last week, the 3 guys that murdered him was just convicted. So again,
I watched that whole trial.
So again, people, that's just not one rapper. That's 4 young black men gone.
But not just young black men, bruh. These are brilliant little dudes.
Exactly. Now, one thing I can say about X is, right before he died, I started getting little, people would share some of his Instagram lives, and he was a brilliant young kid. And he had a mind,
he
and
predicted his own death too.
I didn't know that, but
bruh was, I wish I prepared for that, but he basically, paraphrasing here, he was on live one day, 2 days before he died. He said, you know, what if and I probably put it here on post-production. He said, what if I die, you know, in a tragic death and, you know, down in gun smoke? Would I have touched a lot of people? I want to know that. And I think I would. Hey, bruh, I heard that shit in Virginia Beach, in the hotel, sitting on that bed, waiting for my daughters to get out of the shower. After he died, they played that. You know, they're gonna play the shit. That was 2 days before he died, bruh. And I'm like, that's some Tupac shit. That's some Tupac shit. This nigga, I said to myself, this will be today's Tupac.
Yeah, and speaking of which, my stepson is a huge fan of X. Like that's how he looks at X. He says it himself, like, y'all had Tupac, we had X.
Yep.
And they definitely, like, of that age, that generation, 15, 16, 17, 18, they definitely look at X like that.
But dog, it's they're getting younger and younger and younger, and at the end of the day, it's based upon, I'm sorry to say this, young, but it's based upon an already established foundation of destruction.
Right.
So it's like you can even come into the joint, you can come into this industry with all good intentions, and then once you get there, it's just going to infiltrate your being. And if you continue to go along with what you went into it for, you will be Lupe Fiasco. You see? You will be Good Kid, Mad City. You see what I mean? You
pretty much, you're saying if someone comes into mainstream hip hop as an artist, and their message isn't the status quo, they won't find themselves in hip hop.
They won't. Look at Kendrick Lamar, bruh. He got beaten out by a fucking white man that had 2 fucking hits. Good Kid, Mad City was one of the best fucking albums I ever heard in my fucking life. That fucking album was stellar, bruh. Like, from 1 to whatever the fuck count that was. Like, bruh, he had pull up, drink, listen. Right. I mean, bruh, come on, young. Like, that album, and you don't get a second chance on winning a Grammy for the first fucking time.
Exactly.
They gave that shit to Macklemore. Macklemore even understood that this was bullshit. The motherfucker who won the Grammy understood that this was bullshit. Sent the text to Kendrick Lamar saying, bruh, I was just honored being nominated. Because he was nominated with Kanye West and Jay-Z. He was nominated with all of the fucking greats. But at the end of the day, we got to understand why they do this shit.
Yeah, exactly. Because when your message is not, it's counter to, again, the status quo, then you kind of can see and understand why that is. I want to change gears a little bit.
Okay.
And of course, it's still on the topic of this, but since Lauryn Hill, in the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, in particular, that album,
Queen,
why haven't we had that type of female artist? And in today's time, currently we have probably the most female acts at once, and women have taken over hip hop between 2022 and 2023. It cannot be denied. Acts like Megan Thee Stallion up here, Cardi B up here. You have Lotto up here, Nikki still up here. You have so many different women, and rightfully so. Women definitely deserve a spot in hip hop. But my thing is, and it's not to question their talent, because obviously these women are talented. Obviously, that cannot be denied, and anyone who denies them are simply hating, right? But my thing is, do you think, or do our listeners or viewers think that these women are being propped up and being used for a more nefarious type of a more nefarious type of thing, to have them propped up to teach our young women to be a certain way? That's my question to you, Dutch.
Yes, I know this, and I know this wholeheartedly as like actually being in the music industry. You see what I'm saying now? And I was in the music industry on a low level, but at the end of the day, I had a neo soul, Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu type artist, which she's still out there doing her damn thing. Shout out to Dijon. She's still out there doing her thing, and she never compromised herself when people told her to rap like Nicki Minaj, you know, Cardi B and all of them. You know what I mean? She
Right.
always kept it on some soulful type shit. You know what I mean? And she's probably going to be listening to this like, wow, he's giving me a shout out, because we have not been on good terms for the last 10 years. But I can always recognize realness. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I mean, bruh, I met her. Well, she's a distant cousin, really, but I met her in 2011, 2012. You feel me? And she never recorded her. She never heard herself on a record. She the first time she ever came to any type of studio was through me. You see what I mean? And I mixed her voice onto the beat, and she heard it. It was like, and she started crying. And
right.
She can tell you this. Now the thing is, I promoted her as the Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill type. And you know how many times people told me that's not gonna fucking work, bro. She gotta talk about sucking dick. And I'm talking, bruh, directly. They're telling me this, and I know it sounds so far-fetched, but they told me, yeah,
they don't, because
they said she's nice, but she gonna show some ass. She gonna show some titties. I was like, wow, bro, but you hear what she's saying? Do you hear her record?
Right.
Do you hear it? Yeah, we hear it, but she ain't talking about sucking dick. Wow.
Right. And that's just, and it, like, again, it goes to show that even with that, they are creating our path for us to walk instead of us being trendsetters. You know what I mean? And when you think about hip hop and you think about rap music, that is what gave it its flair, is the fact that if you came through hip hop, everyone who was involved was a trendsetter in some regard. But now it seems as if the path is already laid for you. And to me, that's why the music is cookie cutter in the first place. That's why you got that type of response, was because they seen something that was working. And hip hop always looked at that type of shit as being whack. Is that just because Dutch is doing it and it works and it's working for him, doesn't mean that Bleak should be doing it. And I guess we gonna get into it. We just get into it.
And that leads us into what people have been seeing in the last couple of days. Tekashi 6ix9ine has gotten his, some people will say, comeuppance. Tekashi
just
6ix9ine,
due, huh?
yes, he was brutally beaten inside of a gym in the last couple of days. And to piggyback on a lot of people's sentiment. They think that this was, like you just said, his just due. What do you think about this whole entire situation, bro? And I will elaborate on how I feel about
it. They made sidewalks for a reason. Some motherfuckers should not be in the streets, and it's that simple. So when you have someone like 6ix9ine, right, and when you see the whole fucking thing play out, it's like a folk tale that you tell your children. It's like you have this kid who wanted to become a rapper. He wanted to be an artist.
Or something. He just wanted to become something.
Yeah, I believe he wanted to become an artist. Now, so when he became what he wanted to become, because I remember that Tekashi 6ix9ine was actually big in the UK, I believe, before he was big here. So he had fame before he became famous here in the United States. And I think his first song here was the song called Gumbo, I believe.
Gumbo, yeah.
And
he had all them niggas behind
exactly.
Him.
So when you take that in, and it's like, okay, now he's getting this fanfare and this love probably from people who wouldn't normally pay him any attention. And I think the reason why he caught so many people's attention was because his look was so out there. It was so different than what we would come to know what a rapper would do. The bright colored hair, the tattoos,
along with the cosign of the trade.
Exactly. So when you look at that, and then the tail part of it comes in is when you start to believe your own hype. Where your words, where your words are now being believed by people, which if they knew you, they wouldn't even believe, but you are putting on for the hood.
And so you're starting to believe
your own hype. So now you're starting to behave and act out in certain ways that you normally wouldn't do.
Let me ask you this, bro, before you continue. Do you think that bug of believing your own hype can actually hit anybody?
Yeah, I mean, no. I don't think it hit anybody. I think only hit those that are weak enough to believe it. Because those who are true to themselves will always can always look in the mirror and understand who they are. So some people would never take it that far.
Because I asked that because not to say any names or anything, or make it seem like I'm beefing with anybody, but I know someone who is on the come up, right? Let's just say on the come up. And I know that person. So that person now would speak to me. Before, when we first started anything, that person would never speak to me in this type of manner. But since they have, yes men around them and all of this, now you speak to me as your stage name.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
I definitely get it. So again, I believe what I believe personally is this. Again, if you know yourself,
there you go.
If you know yourself, you would never see. That's the thing. People start to believe the character that they create. For a lot of rappers, they take on the persona of their character. Now, the best rappers to me are the ones that can always maintain themselves, being true to themselves. For instance, do you believe that Snoop Dogg is Snoop Dogg all day, every day?
Yes.
That's him. That's him.
I do.
That's him.
I do think this nigga smoke weed.
So basically, when the cameras is off, do you believe that he's still
Yeah.
being the same. Exactly. It's a lot of them that I believe
Now,
are
give
the
or
exact.
take some, nuances, but yes,
Now, I think Snoop. I get what you're saying, but I think Snoop is that's who he is. That's
yeah,
just who he is. 50 Cent, that's who he is.
that's who he is.
50 Cent is Curtis Jackson. Curtis Jackson is
Yes,
50
bro.
Cent.
I love my man 50.
It's certain people. I'm saying it's certain
Even Puff
people.
Daddy. I don't like Puffy, but Puffy is Puffy. I
I
think
mean,
that nigga is really
the thing about it
that
is
nigga
people
in
have certain people have accepted who they are, so therefore they don't have to play up to be a character.
right.
You know what I
right.
mean? They don't have to play it up to be that's who that person is. When
But
you
do
walk
you
into
think-
the room,
Do you think 6ix9ine had to play up to the
absolutely. And that's the and I think, well, that's not what I think. I know that's the problem. That's the biggest problem. So when he starts to play into the character of 6ix9ine, now he feels as if I have to now become 6ix9ine. I have to be this person. It's a lot of rappers that I've heard that they say he's not like that behind closed doors. He's like that as the character. But to me, again, that's what I've come to understand about certain rappers. Is when you look at them and you understand that certain people start to play into their character for good or bad.
And that brings us into matter of fact, let's go back on the 6ix9ine thing before we get into what I was going to say about him. 6ix9ine, I was actually a fan of him before all of the fuckery. I like the little dude. I like his energy, right? Based upon what I'm looking at from new artists. Someone told me that I'm an old head and I need to start listening to new artists, right?
Right.
And I was apprehensive at like shit. I was like, and you guys know 6ix9ine has been the snitch and all of this now, but back then, like in 2017, 18, I was looking at him like, damn, like this little nigga be going hard on them records, you know what I'm saying?
No one. I don't think no one could deny that when he first came on the scene that he definitely had something.
Like, he was doing
whether
that,
you liked it or not.
50 Cent fucking co-signed this.
No, he was definitely becoming like a superstar in rap. That's undeniable.
Yeah, and that's what I got. And then when he went on the Breakfast Club and was talking a lot of shit, that's his first. Well, yeah, the Breakfast Club interview turned me off to him because he was sitting up there acknowledging that he talks shit and he can't be touched. And I said, bro, Tupac Shakur got touched, bro. Like Biggie Smalls got touched, bro. Like that. What you're saying right now is bullshit. And then after all of the shit transpired, and then when I heard him on the stand, like literally turning into what's his name, Daniel Hernandez. When he turned into Daniel Hernandez, that's when I was like, oh, all right, okay. And then when he got out, then you thinking when this nigga get out, he's gonna be humble.
Right, because I think at that point in time, at that point in time, he was so far. It's like you're so deep into the trolling, you might as well keep it up because it's no escaping this. Which brings me to something else.
But did he have a choice? I want to ask you: do you think he thought he had a choice to embrace the rat shit or just be humble?
I mean, yeah, you always got a choice. But the thing about it is, he chose what he chose, and that's what it is. Which brings me to this, which speaks to some more recent the YSL thing with Young Thug, Gunner. So this just a segue into that is, which speaks to it's a lot of rappers. Again, when you look at Gunner, he doesn't scream street to me. His lyrics, none of that. Now, they say Young Thug was about the life. I didn't really pay too much attention to Young Thug either. Of course, I heard his music, but people were saying, nah, he really with the shit. So okay, cool.
So was the nigga Gunna? What I heard his rap, because I don't listen to these niggas. Was his raps gangster?
Yes, it was. He kept talking about not never snitching. Pretty much. It's several clips of him saying that.
So why people aren't on Gunna as much as they on 6ix9ine?
Oh, they are, but you got to think too. It doesn't seem that way because when this shit happened with 6ix9ine, that was like the first. It's like
it's like being the second black nigga.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so it's like it's whatever now. It's like whatever. But
like the second black president, hey bro.
Yeah, ain't nobody gonna give a fuck.
But we Obama niggas.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. That's a great point. Is because you could damn sure believe we have another black president. It's gonna be like, all right.
You cool. Like that nigga gotta do some astronomical shit.
Right, like, exactly. He gotta be like extreme as Trump or do some shit that's way like damn.
Like give black people
you better than Obama. Yeah,
if he give black people reparations and it goes through, like we forget about Obama. It
gotta be on that level, bro. It gotta be on that level. But yeah, so no bullshit. But Gunna, he's kind of like
do shit.
Yeah, he's kind of escaping the controversy of 6ix9ine,
right?
In a sense, of course, he's getting backlash. Niggas is calling him rats and everything, whatever.
But he can still release a record.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He can, and somebody go like you. Gotta think people will still support 6ix9ine.
They do. This nigga still sell out fucking the ring.
Here's the thing.
The youngins don't give a fuck about.
That's what I'm saying. Here's the thing. Dutch hip hop has become so big.
Yep.
And it's so mainstream. It's people that's not in the streets that support it.
Yep.
Everybody that support hip hop is not. Matter of fact, most people that buy into hip hop and listen to it is not in the streets. So a lot of people say if they was 6ix9ine, they would snitch too. So a lot of people say if they was Gunna, they would have snitched too, which lets you know that you shouldn't even be trying to emulate a certain lifestyle with. If you get caught up, you will have to snitch. That's what they made sidewalks for.
But the thing is, bruh, let's go back to these record labels and what we're here for. And that is the and to go on the record, I do think I'm glad 6ix9ine didn't lose his life. I don't ever want anybody to lose their life, but I do think he deserved that ass whooping. What you think? I'm
gonna say this. This what I'm gonna say. This what I'm gonna say. If the guys that beat 6ix9ine ass was on some clout chasing shit, y'all niggas some bitches.
Yeah,
y'all niggas
that can exist in the same.
Yeah, y'all niggas some bitches. That's all I can say. Y'all niggas some bitches. Yeah. Now, if this has something to do with something that we don't know, I apologize because it might got something to do with some other shit.
But you gotta understand.
Either way, if you jumping somebody, I think that's some bitch shit.
When a nigga tell you that, I'm the shit, I can't be touched, even if you try to jump me, and then you get jumped. I mean, hold on, bro. I got it's layers to this shit and it's sides to it. Now, at the end of the day, jumping someone, because I got jumped in my lifetime, right? Jumping someone is some bitch shit. I'm gonna go on the record.
That is
someone is, and especially if they like some little nigga. You know what I mean? Like I never would jump. I ain't never been the jumper. I never been that.
You was the jumpy.
I done motherfucking like, yeah, I've been the jumpy. I done put a nigga neck up on the fucking brick wall and was about to hit this nigga, and he say, "Man, just hit me. I'm a bitch ass nigga." I couldn't even hit him after that. Like, and those who know me, who watching this, y'all know exactly who the fuck I'm talking about. But I couldn't do it. Now, that aside, jumping the niggas is bullshit. However, it's exceptions to every rule. I don't care. Look, I say he deserved that ass whooping because of the shit that he spews. And he literally ironically says exactly what happened to him. Like he says that what happened to him, okay, what happened to him he touts day in and day out can't happen to him. The irony of it.
Well, the thing is, again,
I believe he deserved that ass whooping
Oh, no, for
based
sure.
on what he's saying. But I think that they are bitch ass niggas for doing it.
Oh no, for sure. And that's again, that's
exist in the same universe.
Yeah, and that's the another lesson for it, that people need to understand that no one is invincible, no one is untouchable, and also is that you have to understand that karma is real, and the energy you put out. That's again going back to this whole fucking thing that we talking about from part 1 and part 2, is that this is something that rappers need to be more conscious of. The imagery, the lyrics, the energy that you're putting out sometimes finds itself back. And sometimes look at Takeoff, right? Sometimes it comes around to people that seemingly is undeserved, right? Now it's easy to say that Takeoff was in a wrong place at the wrong time, but if we're going to have faith, then we got to have faith and understand that God doesn't make mistakes either. And that's what I mean by energy being real, that it will find its way to at your front door at some point in time.
So fucked up. You
It's
know
definitely
what?
fucked
You
up.
want to know why that was fucked up, bro? Because, like you just said, you know, I'm not the God guy, but I am the
We understand, bro. You already got it.
I do believe in certain shit that happens supposed to happen. Takeoff was the lesser known Migo. He was always the lesser known Migo. You had Offset. He got with Cardi B, who was the biggest motherfucker
At that time. Yes, absolutely.
So that just puts stock in his shit. Then you have what's the other guy? Quavo. He had certain relationships with people on the come up, Sweetie and all of them. So his name was always in the mix. Takeoff never really. I never really thought about the nigga like that. I'm gonna be real. But now this guy is the most famous Migo because of
and from what they said, that he's the one who actually started the group.
Exactly. And the cadence.
And the youngest.
That every rapper goes on. That even though I think it's stupid, I think that shit sounds retarded. But at the end of the day, that shit is hip hop today.
Right.
A rack of rappers coined their cadence off of
absolutely. Absolutely. And you would think that at some point in time, rappers would take heed not to just the words of people like you and I on a podcast like this, because it's been shows, it's been documentaries, it's been podcasts, it's been YouTube clips, it's been Instagram about this particular topic in several different ways. But my message to rappers these days, you don't have to take heed to words no more. You have to start taking heed to action. Because actions is what's speaking. People are really dying. And you don't have to pretend to not understand what's going on. You can see what's going on. You can see that someone like Young Dolph could be in his favorite little store that he goes to when he goes back and pretty much minding his business. People roll up on him.
Cookies.
Yeah, people. You see what I'm saying? And I'm saying that to say in the most humble of times, and doing the most humblest of things, just getting cookies, and you die. Nipsey Hussle in front of his store that he was helping to bring to the community, and just took a picture with a young fan. I think was young as 2 years old, 3 years old, something like that. Minutes later, dead. And we need to start understanding that even these rappers need to start understanding that it's time to make a change. And I know that we have something here coming up about that.
And I wanna and I'm
look
glad.
at the shit I spoke about. Look at.
I'm so glad that oh, that was so beautiful the way you bring that in. And we both were thinking as you were talking. We get to Okay, check it. Young Dolph, Nipsey Hussle, Pop Smoke, XX Tentacion, King
Take Off.
Von, Takeoff. We even PNB Rock.
Yeah, PNB Rock,
What
RIP.
about him? Rest in peace. We always say things after they're gone, right? And they never get a chance to speak on things that their lyrics may have, contributed to. But and please, universe, do not make this out to be something to where this man lose his life tomorrow. But I just want to jump in front of something that these men never got to say, and that is NBA Youngboy. I've been listening to a couple of raps or songs that this man have that really I like, you know what I mean, in the last couple of months. Like when he redid the, nigga, you got the yayo, then cook some from, like, he did Block His Hat, and I grew up on Wayne. So it's like when he did that, and then he did my two favorite songs is that joint and I Ain't Going Outside Today. Like that.
Oh, yeah.
Man, like that guy is talented.
No,
bro.
this dude's super. Yeah, no, he's super talented. That's one thing. As we get older, we tend to put distance between
that's in
us.
my rotation on my playlist.
As we get older, we tend to put like distance between younger artists and and our generation of rap. But NBA Youngboy talent is undeniable.
And to hear him say what y'all about to hear him say, and we're going to end this part 2 on this. It's prolific, and I think rappers need to, and you can hear the pain in his voice of how he's sounding, bruh. To make it, I know he's thinking about this. He's thinking about this, and he put thought into what he's saying, and it hurt. And the way he sound, like, man, that shit brings a little bit tears to my eyes on how he sounds. But y'all listen to this, and we're gonna elaborate, and then we're gonna wrap it up. But listen.
Look at this. Look at the shit I spoke about. Look at the shit I put in these people's ears. Man, I feel very wrong about a lot of things. How many lives I actually am responsible for when it comes to my music. How many kids and people have gotten in the car or put this shit in their ears and actually went hurt someone. And now I'm sitting back like, damn, I can't do it all in one day. But I promise to clean whatever I can clean. But it's gonna take time.
I just want to play that one more time for the people so it can really resonate with what he's saying.
Man, look at the shit I spoke about. Look at the shit I put in these people's ears. Man, I feel very wrong about a lot of things. How many lives I actually am responsible for when it comes to my music. How many kids and people have gotten in the car or put this shit in their ears and actually went hurt someone. And now I'm sitting back like, damn, I can't do it all in one day. But I promise to clean whatever I can clean. But it's gonna take time.
What you hear when you hear that brother speak, that young man speak, bro?
I hear someone that is basically those type of thoughts come from being isolated. To me, when someone has been isolated, that means they have time to reflect. They have time to take in what they have made contributions to and how it affects others. Isolation sometimes brings about clarity. You're not around the noise anymore. You're not around your boys anymore. So when you're around and you get to sit with your thoughts and actually hear your voice, hear your inner voice, hear yourself speak, and that is when you truly get to know yourself. Sometimes people don't find themselves till they by themselves. And when you find yourself by yourself, sometimes that inner voice is the voice that speaks the loudest. So to me, that's what I hear. I hear someone that now has clarity.
Mm.
So by him now having clarity about his lyrics and probably reflecting on who he is now, and by having so many kids, and some people might say even with that, having that many kids at that young age is a sense of being reckless. But that's neither here nor there. The bigger point is he probably looks at himself as a father now and says, I have a lot of responsibility. What if someone kills my kid? Or what if my kid kills someone else? So now he has, again, time to reflect and see that maybe the message that I'm putting out is not conducive to the man that I want to become. So all in all, that's what I hear. I hear reflection. That's what I hear.
You want to know what I hear, and I hear everything that you hear, with the addition of this man, this young man, has been through a lot. He's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and those kids down there have seen so much destruction. They've seen so much self-destruction at that, poverty, and a lot. And they don't have the time to reflect. And I like how you pointed out that he's away from all of the fuckery. This man in Utah, bruh. You asked me a couple minutes ago, like, how many dudes you know from that's in Utah? You see?
Right.
And he's in Utah, right?
I believe so, yeah.
And the thing is, man, when you go and sit with yourself and you start to reflect on a lot of things that's going on, you can't help but to understand what you contribute to something.
Exactly.
And I never heard a rapper of that caliber at the top of his game right now. Now they do it later on when they done fell off, or you know what I mean, when they ain't really got
when they older and mature. Yeah.
But this guy, he's under 30 years old.
And he's at the height of his height of his career. Yeah.
And he's starting to realize that my lyrics can cause someone else's death.
Right.
When you come to that realization, you have to then take a step back and reevaluate. And I loved how he said, it's not going to be overnight. You got to give me some time. Right. He didn't say, pipe dreams are like, my next record going to be Kumbaya. No. Because he's trying to understand what he's going through.
He's still very much young. He's trying to, like you say, he's still learning too.
Exactly.
Still a lot of growth to be had.
Bro, when I first got on YouTube, I was motherfucking and fuck this bitch, bruh. If you hear the first 6 months of my YouTube career, you're gonna be like, nigga, what the hell? To today, where I'm more polished, I'm more understanding of what I say matters. Some people could listen to me and just listen to me only, and take what I say and apply it to their lives.
Absolutely.
So shout out to NBA Youngboy for even, bringing that to light and having the courage to say it at that.
Absolutely.
The thing is, bro, we're not done with this topic. But
this is an ongoing topic.
I think between part 1 and part 2, we said a lot that I want people to not only take in and think about, but to regurgitate to their people on their platform.
Absolutely, yeah. See
what I'm saying? And sharing this information, because at the end of the day, we're just catalysts to this information. And I do want to play this one clip that I think culminates to what rappers go through today, and I want us to give our last thoughts on what this guy have to say, and then just end this out and have and then just give it to the people in the comment section. Let them come up with their own conclusions of what we're talking about. So I'm gonna play this clip, then we're gonna end it out, people.
Truth. The truth is, blogs still follow me from trying to get news from music videos and things like that. So here's the truth. The truth is this: a bunch of young black male rappers keep dying. You know who's not dying? Record executives. The record executives that push for them to continue to make songs and create a culture that is obsessed with death, drugs, and sex. Period. The industry's obsessed with it, but those record executives, they're not dying because they don't push this culture on their own people, but they're encouraging you to push it on yours, and they're paying you handsomely to do it. The reality is, I know a lot of you. A lot of you are good people. You're family guys. You're not the image that you put out there to the world. Why? Why don't you be the example? Stand up. I challenge you. Be the example.
I'm gonna say this. I agree wholeheartedly with what this man just said. And to the rappers out there who are looking at the Truth is Controversial podcast, I want you guys to answer that question. Why not go against the grain? That's all I'm gonna say on it. Bleak, you end it out.
Well, one of the things that he said, he said, why aren't these executives dying? And why aren't they pushing this music to their own kids? It's very simple. And Biggie said it best. You never get high on your own supply. Ooh. So it's right there. These executives know that a lot of times the message is poisonous. You see what I'm saying? So they would never push poison to their own people. In part one, Leo Cohen alluded to that. You see what I'm saying? He has mouths to feed. So that's pretty much where I stand with it. And it's an understanding. So we want y'all to continue to come back and listen to the Truth is Controversial podcast. As you heard what we talked about at length through this, a lot of truth, a lot of controversy is going to come from this. But this is the Truth is Controversial, and you keep seeking the truth, even if it's controversial.
And that's
Dutch. I'm Bleak. We out.
All right, baby. Y'all be safe out there and continue to think outside the box. Let's go.
In a world full of half-truths and fake news, the Truth is Controversial podcast. Two truth seekers stand ready to expose the lies and uncover the facts. They are not afraid to speak up, stand out, and take on the establishment. Blek and Dutch.